our first speaker of today with a big applause, and hopefully he does that move.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, he is 20 years younger than we are.
And he looks 30 years younger than we are.
And he's more successful than we will ever be.
So please welcome Moritz Lechner.
Hello, my name is Moritz Lechner. I'm 15 years old and the founder of Freebiebox. I first want to tell you something about how my startup works and what Freebiebox is, and then I will come to my story and how I came to found my startup with only 14 years. So I had the idea to Freebiebox because on one side I have been using high quality and useful freebies, like promotional items which are branded, for a long time by myself. But I just realized, okay, they are often given away randomly at events and something like that and end up in garbage. Then when I thought about this topic, I just started researching, just like everyone other of you maybe would do, like Googled it, and found out that alone in German-speaking countries, over 500 million freebies are thrown away every year. To solve that problem, I founded Freebiebox. Freebiebox is a surprise box filled with different, high-quality and useful freebies from our partners. With a survey integrated on our website, we do on one side target group advertising for our advertising partners, so for companies, and on the other side, every freebie box is being customized based on the interests of the consumer. So if you buy a freebie box on our website, you just fill out a short survey, you can see that here, and then you are getting into a target group, and we do this matching process between the customer and his interests and the company and its target group. And then at the end, you just, the freebie box is just being sent to you home. The benefits of Freebiebox for consumers is on one side, they get high quality, useful day-to-day products, also often gadgets and stuff like that, much cheaper than in normal retail, so normally like over 70% cheaper. And the most important thing is just this surprise effect. You don't exactly know what you will get, but it's also individual. So you know, okay, it will be based on my interests, so it won't just be some crap and just some random crap. It will be really individual, just personalized for you. For companies, we do on one side target group advertising with these products, so they don't have any spreading loss and know, okay, the products are really getting to their target group, which is of course very important for them. And of course, they can also, sometimes it's like remainers of products they still have in storage and where they, for example, ordered too much of. It's working. Also, okay. No. Ah, okay. Great. So let me just see. Yeah. Okay, great. So let's come to our target group, which was very interesting for me because, you know, I talk to a lot of people and they always tell me, I'm sure your product, you only got like teenagers as customers. They will be as old as you are. And interesting was for me, that's not the case. So we mainly just got really like much older people. So for example, like from 25 to 50 is our main target group. No, for me, it's not older people, but for me it's older and it's not like teenagers. So basically, it's not no teenagers and many people, they are just like, they're just spontaneous and of course like love surprises. I think that's very important. Here you can see some products we got in the freebie boxes, but we really got like a lot of different products, from t-shirts to bags to power banks to whatever. So we even had shoes one time. So there is nearly everything. You can nearly brand everything. I think there is nothing you can't brand. We sell the boxes on our website. So, and once we sell them as subscriptions and also as single boxes. Let's come to our business model. Our business model is that consumers pay for the boxes. Depending on their subscription, it's between 15 and 25 euros. And the companies give us the products for free, and for them it's advertising. Let's come to my story. So I started with this whole startup thing like basically 2 years ago. So it was in summer 2017 when I had the idea to Freebiebox. And I came to this whole topic because I was really interested in economics and also startups for a long time before. It all started with my very first internship with, I think it was only with 12 years at a venture capital firm. So it was at Speed Invest, maybe some of you know it. And they invest in startups. And that's how I came to this whole startup topic and to this ecosystem. And from the first day on, I was really fascinated by this whole startup thing and this, okay, they just do it, they got their own ideas and they just execute them. That's what fascinated me. And then it just all developed. So after that, I did 2 more internships at startups. And, you know, it was not like real long internships. I think it was only like a week or something like that. But it was enough to fascinate me and, yeah, to make me also interested in this startup topic. So that's how it all started. And then the second thing I did, okay, I had the idea in the summer, and I just said, okay, I want to do it. Let's do it. Let's just do it. Don't think about it too much. I want to just execute it. And that's basically what I did. But the first challenge was to tell it to my mother. So my mother was basically the first one I talked to the idea of founding a company with. 13 I was back then. And her first reaction was like, what do you want now? Are you getting crazy or what? Because like with 13 years, it's maybe not the it's maybe not the most common thing to do. So she was really, I mean, she didn't really believe, she believed in me, but she didn't really believe I want to really execute it. So it was like, okay, yeah, let him do and let's see what he does. But then I showed her that I really meant it that way. And I just started with it. The first thing I remember, I just watched YouTube tutorials to how to create my own website, and I got no idea of it. So I didn't even know how to design a website, what it is exactly, but you know, I just Googled it and watched YouTube tutorials, and my first own website, it wasn't great, but it worked, and that was every time the most important thing for me. It doesn't always have to be perfect, but it just has to work, and it was enough to get me started. And I remember then it was like the official founding of the company, but I had to do it with my mother because in Austria, under 18, no chance, you can't found a company. No, but you're laughing. But for example, in the USA and in Great Britain and also in Germany, I think there are ways to. It's maybe also not easy, but there are ways. I think you have to go to judges and stuff like that. But you can do it. In Austria, it's not good, but no chance for doing that. So I founded officially the company and just got started. And I remember my very first customer that I didn't know. It was like a dream became true. It was like, I even remember her name, although we got 10,000 customers. And it was like a very important moment for me because it was like, okay, someone I don't even know is buying my product. First I was looking, okay, do I know this person from somewhere, or where is she from? How can she get to Freebiebox? How did she get to know it? But yeah, then I just realized, okay, it was my first real customer. And it started with really just doing my own website. Then it was just things that I would have done and that I used, normally also used for me in private. So for example, I did an Instagram account and Facebook account, just normal stuff that you would do if you start a startup, but of course with no budget. So I think I started like with 100 euros of my pocket money or something like that. So that's also a thing. You don't need that much money to start the company. You only maybe need a few 100 euros or a few euros, and then just get it started. And if you get started, you will see then the money will come. And then maybe you got investors or something like that. But I think it's very important to first really like execute something and have done something. Here you can see how it all started. So, because first of all, I really also sent the boxes out of my own room. So I did everything in my room, from working on my laptop to packaging the boxes, and everything was just full of products. It was all very messy. And my brother, who at that time also lived in my room, wasn't that happy about it as well. Everything was really like full of boxes and not great, but it just worked. And then one thing, and I think it was a very important and good step to do, was I looked for a logistics partner. So I think it was like 2 months after I started with the company, I got my logistics partner, and then he did all of this sending out the boxes, and it didn't have to care about it that much. And I think it was a very important learning that you don't every time have to do the things by yourself. You can also outsource some things, maybe not everything, but then you can really like concentrate on your key activities and the most important things about your business. So that's where we are now. Now we got our own office and in a co-working space near Marie-Hilfer-Straße, and it's really great working there. And it was really, like, Freebiebox really developed a lot from being a one-man show to now we got a team of 5 people, and it's really great. And one thing I also learned in my journey of now like about 2 years of startup experiences is that team is basically the most important thing in a startup. I mean, investors tell that thing, but it's also what I have learned from the experiences, because the product is something which develops and you can change the product, and it was also what happened with Freebiebox, because the Freebiebox, as you may know it today, and as I just pitched it to you, wasn't from the beginning, it really wasn't the same. So it was a completely different idea, but it just developed and developed and developed, and so it got to the point where it is today. And then a very important step in my career as an entrepreneur was finding a good co-founder, because I started really just by myself, but after some time I realized, okay, I'm just not good in everything, and I think nobody is perfect in everything, so that's very important. And so I started looking for a co-founder, but it was really not as easy as I thought it would be, because I talked to a lot of people. I went to every event there is to find a co-founder, but the thing is, it's very hard to find the 100% perfect co-founder. But you need a co-founder who matches you 100%, because it's one of the biggest things you have to decide in the whole startup career. So I think it was a very important step, and I even did, I tested it out with several people, and it never worked 100%, and then I was there again alone, and then I had the luck, and it was a pretty funny story how I then met my co-founder. He started as an intern for me, and he started as an intern in summer. It was like 1 year ago, so last summer, and then it just all developed, and it turned out, okay, he was a really great guy. We just understood each other perfectly on a personal level, but also on a business level. So he also is like, he's good in graphics and coding and all of that, and I'm more of the sales type who wants to go out and sell the thing. And so that was a really great thing to look at it. And then also the whole team, everything just developed, and We also got some mentors and investors, and maybe some of you have seen it, but we just went to 2 minutes, 2 million, so like the Shark Tank of Austria, and we're also successful there. So Florian Gespannte is now also one of our investors. And yeah, so here you can see some of the partners we already could convince of our product. So we got some pretty big partners, I would say, like Coca-Cola, Porsche, T-Mobile, and a lot of other companies, and more are coming on this list. And yeah, so that was really something, because I started alone, and the people, they just believed in me. It wasn't, and at the beginning it wasn't like much products. They just sent me here a box of 20 products, and here it was 50 products, but it was something. So it was better than nothing, of course, and it was enough to get me started. And now, of course, it's like much bigger sums of products, much bigger things, and much bigger corporations at the end, but the companies still believe in us and like the whole business idea, and that's really great for us. At the end, I want to give you one little piece of advice, and the most important thing I have learned in my career as an entrepreneur is just do it. You just really execute your ideas, because having an idea is one thing, but executing it is a really different thing, and it's much more harder, because planning things is always like, okay, everything will be perfect, and in 6 months we will all be millionaires, and everything turned out to be very successful. But if you then start to execute it, then you see, okay, which problems are really there. And I think that's a very important thing, and then you can like change your business model and change the whole product and really till it's perfect. I think that's the biggest advantage of startups, is they are small and they can change the whole product. They are like very fast. They don't have to ask 1,000 people, as it's sometimes at big companies. They just can get started very fast, and that's the big advantage they have. So just do it and fulfill your dreams, do them, and that's what I want to give to you. Okay, thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to your questions now.
Woo. Wow!
That
Moritz.
guy burns. Give him a bigger applause. He's 15. Wow.
Well, Moritz, my first question would be, how old was the co-founder you found then?
He is 24. Yeah, he's 24.
So he's old.
Yeah. No. No, he's not old, but I would say I got a pretty young team, and so I think no one is over 30, I think. But it's not all about the age. I think it's just about their spirit, and if they want, they can do it. And so I don't have to pick my people based on their age.
I'm already inspired by you. Do you hire?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
So-
we also got a...
Hi.
Yeah.
I'm Pascal. I would love to work for him. Who would love to work for Moritz?
Wow.
I think he's a great boss. Cool. Moritz, I have a question. Is it sometimes helpful or more annoying if you talk to these old people, to these old bosses of companies, for example, at Porsche? Is it annoying to be so young, or is it helpful to be so young?
I think it's a very hard question, because sometimes it can really be helpful. It can really be helpful because, you know, you are different than the others. They got 100 calls per day from people who want to sell something to them. But if you say, okay, I'm the youngest founder of Austria, I'm just 14 or 15 years old, it's for them, okay, yeah, he's different, maybe it's interesting for us. And on the other side, I also have seen it that some people then just say, I don't believe that it's possible, and they are just like, I'm not sure if that's really true, and if you can really do it, so they don't really take you serious.
What was the first company you got in contact with, and how was the situation? Like you were on the phone and like, hello,
Hi, I'm 14, I
I'm
have a
Moritz.
business. Or how was it?
Yeah, no, I think it was maybe Erste Bank, so a big bank in Austria, and it was like, yeah, I think I just wrote emails out to some companies I found in the internet, and some responded, and many, of course, didn't respond, and then I just have to had to call them, and when they got me on phone, first they were like really surprised and were like, okay, what does he want? And so, but after that, I talked to them, and they were really helpful and said, okay, we want to help you a little bit and start founding your company, because at the beginning of the company it didn't really have that big of a worth, because I had 0 customers, so it didn't really have a big worth for them, but it was just okay, let's help him and let's see what he does with it. So, but it was a great experience and helpful at all, yeah.
Cool. These were our questions. Now it's your turn. Questions and sunglasses.
Oh.
So the question, how is your name, is not okay.
Okay, how is your name? No. So how do you distribute your time? And also, how do you manage it with the school? And how is it to manage it with growing up as well?
Yeah. I think that's one of the biggest challenges I have to face all day long, because I think I didn't even mention it, but I still go to school in Vienna, to a business school in 2nd grade there. So that's really one of the biggest things, because I think school and founding a startup are 2 things which you're never ending it. It's never over. You never say, okay, my to-do list is, I did everything I had to do and now it's over, now I can watch Netflix. It's just like you can work maybe like 100 hours in both things. You can work 100 hours per week for school and also for a startup. So that's the bigger thing. But I think time management is here the word I'm looking for. And I think time management is the bigger thing. You have to have a really good time management, and then you can manage it. And also maybe like it's not that much sleep that I got these days. But yeah, it's okay. It's as founding a startup is, and it's good as it is.
So is founding a startup your hobby, or do you have any other hobbies as well?
I think founding a startup is definitely my biggest hobby, but I also like to play football, so yeah.
Good, he's a normal boy. Thank God.
Yeah, I mean, it's something really great if you can just spend time with people in my age group, and they don't think about business. They're just, okay, they're focused on school, or not even at school. They're like playing computer games or playing football or whatever. But it's very great to have these 2 sides and not only have to 99% is only business and startup and company. But then if you got only 1% with normal friends, as a normal life as a teenager, it's also great.
Cool. Next question. Next sunglasses.
It fits perfect to your dress.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Karina. I wanted to ask you, how would you define your vision? So what do you expect from the future? And do you have like an end goal, or at least what's the next stage and what comes afterwards?
Yeah, at the moment I'm really fully concentrating on Freebiebox and on expanding with it. So our next steps are also expanding to Germany. I mean, at the moment we got customers there, but not that many. And this year, even in 2019, we still want to go to Germany and really expand there and make it more famous there, that the people just know it. And then the big plan, it would be a real dream if I could work from Silicon Valley. So to expand to the USA and Silicon Valley would be really, really, really nice. That's just a dream of me. And then I think in my whole life, I not only want to found one company, but many others will follow.
Who thinks this guy will go to Silicon Valley?
That's what I want to hear.
Great. I think time is left for 1 or 2 more questions.
Yeah.
And sunglasses, of course.
I come to you.
I think the sunglasses will go off.
You get one too for your freebie box. Yeah, we can talk about that. Oh, wait a second. I think I need to make a picture here. Sorry for the phone app. I need to use my phone now.
Are there also some moments when you forget about Freebiebox and you're just a normal teenager?
I think it's pretty hard to forget about it, because it's also like your own baby. So it's really hard to forget about it, but it's possible. And I think it's these times, and it isn't much time that I can forget it, but sometimes maybe if I just spend time with friends, just playing football in parks or something like that, then it's a few minutes you don't think about business until the next call comes in. But yeah, it's also good to have like this little second life, and to have, to just have also teenager friends here and can spend time with them.
Thanks.
One more question. Behind there.
Yeah.
Or two
And
questions.
This one too, yeah.
What's the thing that drives you? What makes you get up after like 4 hours of sleep, I guess, and work on your business?
I think it's just, I want to execute my dream. It is my dream, and it's also a lot of fun. You know, it's not only work for me, it's also a hobby, and it's also fun. So it's just, I want to change something. I want to make Freebiebox or whatever company successful, and that's what drives me.
And behind there.
I'm already in a drive mood when I listen to you.
Yeah.
I want to start up now and make a business.
Hi, it's Henry. I was just wondering, how do you incorporate products of brands like Porsche or Bosch? What products do they provide, or in what way do they support? Is it just capital, or is it like other products?
Yeah. No, basically they give us their branded products, but what is very important for us is that, of course, it's not just pens or something like that, because that's something no one can really use and it's not really useful. But we got really like a lot of different products, as I showed you before. I think maybe we can. Oh yeah. But it is like they just give us their products. And it's really, we had nearly everything. So I also saw like from belts to shoes to t-shirts to hoodies to whatever. And they just give the products to us, and sometimes also, depending on the product and on the worth of the product, they then pay us a small fee per product so that they can be like in the box, and yeah.
What was maybe the coolest product you ever got? Was it a branded Porsche maybe, or?
Let me think. I think basically I really liked the shoes we had. I used them myself. They were really nice. And we got some, what did we got? What was really nice? Yeah, and some sound boxes. I also like them because they were like really good. And sometimes you're like surprised and see, okay, when they then tell you they buy the products for like 30 euros a piece, although they buy them in the thousands of them. So we got some really high quality, really nice products. And it's also really a challenge to convince the companies to not just give you any products, but to give you their best products that really then are great for the customers.
Do you see a trend going to, I don't know, electronics more
Or
something?
green stuff, maybe?
Yeah, it is electronics. So basically, over a third of our customers says they are interested in electronics. Then it's also sports is also pretty famous. And yeah, so basically electronics, sports, and we also started with some other things. So in the food space, we cooperate with some startups, and in the cosmetic space. So for example, for women, it's not always, but it's also a lot of people who say they're interested in cosmetics and want to get them. It's always good to have like a mix. You got day-to-day gadgets, I would say, mixed up with like just food stuff or cosmetics or something like that, and that's what the customers love about it.
Wonderful. And Moritz, maybe one last advice you give to us?
Please share your contact slide with them. I think everybody should follow this guy on Instagram, on social media, on Facebook, and have a look at his website.
Is this you jumping in the water?
Is it what?
One before? The
jumping
picture
into the water?
No, it isn't me. No. But I also jumped from cliffs.
Oh, nice, cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. No, but last advice, I really think it's, as you can see it here, really do it. If you have ideas, and I'm sure you all got some ideas. Maybe some are crazy, maybe some aren't, maybe some are just simple, but just really do it and get it started. And don't just spend your time on doing plans. And I mean, plans are important. I don't want to say that. And you learn them here in studies, and they are really important. But it's far more important, that's what I think, to really then execute them. And I think that's also what you learn here. And there are some very nice projects where we also partnered up with WU Wien, and yeah, that's really nice.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this could have been you 15 years ago. Please give him the biggest applause of today, Moritz Lechner.
Danke.
Sensational. Thank you, Moritz.
Danke. Oh.
Freebiebox.